Yes, we're talking NeoPixels tonight. This one is an Evo Flex from Electrum Lightsabers. So electrumsabercrafts.com. And the reason I went with this saber versus a Vader's Vault or any of the other high-end NeoPixel sabers, if you've been looking around, is those are like 6-month waiting list. And this one is 7 to 8 weeks is what they're saying now. This one took 8 weeks total. I think the price point on this guy was $539 total. That was with weathering and the D-ring. So this is the light weathering, and it's got a D-ring on it. These sabers are a little thinner than the regular legacy gray flexes and legacy lightsabers from Disney and the gray flex and the Return of the Jedi Luke sabers and stuff like that. Those guys come in at almost like, I don't know, 1 3/4, almost 2 inches thick, like girth wise, and this guy comes in about 1.5 inches. I mean, if you measured this little guy up here, you might, you're talking 2 inches, but pretty much this is a 1-inch blade, and it's pretty much almost as thick as the whole entire saber all the way through. It does allow for CFX sound fonts, which it does and it doesn't. Okay, so let me just put it to you this way: this saber will allow you to put them on the sound card, and it will run them, but there's a caveat to that. Like, there's no sound, like you can't select the music, you can't do any of that yet. Basically because it's built to use an app on your iPhone or Android device, and you can once you set some of those things up on the app, you can access them through the touch boards here, but anyway, I think it's wicked. It's got a few little tweaks that I think need to happen as far as the app goes, and making it a little bit easier to use and controlling a few more things, but all in all, there's so many settings on it. I think that's what the biggest hiccup is with me, is that there's a learning curve to it to kind of get all your sounds set up properly in your movements, because it does swing and make all the sounds. So without further ado, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and fire this guy up, and you can kind of see it's like super bright. I'm going to turn this light off here and kind of show you guys what the deal is with this. But it's got smooth swing, so you can rotate it, get it. It's got blaster block. So I'm going to pull that down. I'm going to step back so you guys can kind of check this out a little bit. But if that's not a real looking lightsaber, I don't know really what is. It's kind of like... Okay, so it's got a menu on here. So what's really cool about this guy is it's got a touch plate here. You can kind of see I've got that set up right now for that you can just touch that to get the blaster block, but you can do that through movements too. And then this is your menu select, and then this is your power down and power up.
So presumptuous.
So we got an Obi-Wan font on here. That was kind of a free font that I found. But let's go ahead and change it to something else.
Volume.
So there's your volume. And this is where you gotta sometimes hold the button, a couple other times it's kind of touchy.
Volume.
Sounds.
Profiles.
Here's your profiles.
Nightfall.
So you can do orange, I got set up here.
Kinetic.
Some green with kinetic.
Fulcrum.
That's a little homage to Ahsoka there. Super bright, sorry. get rid of that white one.
Kinetic.
This one's magenta. We set this one up for Sophie. Pretty awesome. She likes that one.
Sheriff report.
Okay. This is our unstable. Let's get this chair out of the way. You guys can see it a little better. Sorry about that. It's got auto lock up, which is cool. So that's unstable. It's so hard on this camera. These things are super bright. This is kind of our homage to Darth Vader. Alright, so that being said, this thing is super cool. Again, you got up to 7 profile banks that you can fill out. It's got 12 color banks that you can play with. It's also got a boatload of other stuff. Let me show you some of the cool stuff that's not on, that I don't have set up, but it's like on the menu.
Sound. Profiles. Blade.
Here, so these are some of the blades. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but this is the rainbow blade, which is really sick. Kind of cool when you fire this one up. Yeah, it's so hard to see on here. You're getting so much glare out of this thing. But, so, little pink lock up there. So it's got a couple other ones. Flame in Vegas and Flicker we have.
Volume. Profiles. Blade.
That's Candy Cane, which I doubt you're ever even going to see this on here. There's no way, it's too bright. That's Flicker. That's the Unstable. This is Vegas. Oh man, I wish there was a way to show you guys these. Any of these white ones are really hard to see. This is like strobing through like pastels. Then we're back to just solid. So that's kind of what it does. You can do the volume, obviously, the sound profiles. You can kind of flip through them. I got about four or five fonts on here now, and yeah, it's pretty rad. So what I don't like is the fact that, like I said, when I got this, it had like the red blade was like the first thing that I pushed out, and you know, it had the one sound font that it came with. Extras are like $10. You can go to saberfonts.com and download any of the Profi or CFX soundboard fonts. It'll work with that, and it has smooth swing, and it has a hybrid setting as well. There's a ton of settings on the app. Electrum Sabercrafts.com if you want to check them out. Again, for the price point and the amount of time that I waited, literally 2 months, it's the shortest time I've ever seen after doing a ton of research on getting a NeoPixel saber. So I'd definitely like to have a CFX saber. I think those are pretty cool. I think just going through the board, sound wise, like as far as speed wise, and being able to pick colors and blade profiles and tip drags and stuff like that. I know these guys are working on adding all that, you know, a few more of those features, which is great. They're able to make the updates to the firmware off of their site, and they're also able to make the updates to their app. Sorry, as well. Anyway, may the fourth be with you. Electrum Sabercrafts. This thing's awesome. What they have different that none of the other guys seem to have is this touch control here, and this touch control is awesome, man. Like, you want to fire it up, you just drag it. Same thing. Slide it back. You touch in here for your menu items and on that guy, and then blaster blocks set up on this guy. They have it set up so you can do all motions with it. I just haven't been able to quite tune all of those motions in, and again, the app can be a little bit overwhelming. I wish they would simplify that down a little bit. I'm a UI UX designer by trade, so website architecture, app development, that kind of thing, that's right in my wheelhouse, and I just think that it could be a little bit more user friendly. I mean, I'm having issues as far as trying to figure out some of that like fast. It took me probably about a good 3 or 4 hours of sitting down and playing with it, charging it up and making sure that everything was good to go with it, and getting it running. But man, I'll tell you what, it's an awesome saber. It really is. So if you guys are in the market, go for it. If not, and you want to wait, I would go Vader's Vault, man. I've heard nothing but great things with them. They're great people. I talked to them on the phone. I was actually going to order one, and just did not want to wait 6 months for it. But if there's ever an opportunity to maybe grab one, and I could get it in my price range, and great. So this probably ran me about, what it would cost me to buy 2 sabers at Galaxy's Edge with blades. So, I mean, that's not terrible. So anyway, for what it does, it's awesome. Rechargeable. You unscrew the pommel, and your SD card is in here, so you can take the SD card out. But the awesome part is they do all the weathering in here. So you can see all the weathering that they've done on the saber is actually done in here as well. So, yeah, there's a charge port here, and that's also your deep sleep mode. You have to turn that on when you're charging. And your SD card's right on the other side of that guy. And you just pull that out and put it in a reader. I don't have a reader, so I use my GoPro. So I just have to always make sure I delete the camera stuff off of it. I don't know if you should do that or shouldn't do that, but whatever, it's what I got right now until I can get a card reader. So just plug it into a camera and drag your fonts on there, and set it up in the app. Electrum lightsabers. Thanks, man. May the 4th be with you guys. Take it easy.